Hey guys, we are back at Starlight Drive-In, and today we're going to be working on a radar bar in the center of town. As you can see, I'm actually putting it on top of the water pit that serves as the border between the pack and the operator sides of town. Now, if you remember from previous videos, the Starlight Drive-In is actually going to be the first raider city, or major settlement at least, that the Nuka World raiders have established here in the Commonwealth. I mean, there's going to be some smaller settlements that came first, but this is the first large-scale settlement. So you can see here the ground's pretty uneven, especially in the center. So we're going to have to put down some floorboards to kind of flatten it out, give us a little platform that we can work on. And you can see here I'm just varying the texture a little bit, and we'll break that up even more with some plyboards, after we get the main structures put down. So for the actual stall where the vendors are going to be, I'm using one of those shack walls with the roof already attached. It kind of makes it a little bit easier because one, you already have a roof. It also, is a full stall basically, just like the vanilla, shop stalls. I think it looks a little better personally. And you can see here just using select all to get it roughly the right height. It's not quite even, but I think that kind of lends itself to the scrappiness of the structure. Just add a few more boards. Could not get a board right there, but that's fine. We'll just put some plyboards over it. It'll look good. Actually, I'm really excited with the way this turned out. And I think we'll have some platforms that go around the water pit for some seating, and it actually turns out pretty cool. Alright, so now we're going to place down the counters that the vendors are actually going to be using. And you can see here I'm using the rug glitch combined with the select all glitch. But this time we're going to be using the ashtray. Now, if you ever need to place something that's going to be level on the ground, you're going to want to use the ashtray as it snaps to the ground. Makes things nice and even, just like you can see there. Now, these counters come from a mod called Thematic and Practical, and that's probably my favorite mod. It adds a lot of different, improvised objects and structures, and they all look really cool, especially if you're going to be, building a more of scrappy settlement. They fit in really nicely. Now, one thing to keep in mind with the using the rug glitch is that, especially if you're going to be wanting it to be even with the ground, is the rug needs to be flush against the ground. You can see there that it's kind of floating a little bit, so I have to adjust that so it's actually making contact with the ground. And then you can see there, it kind of sinks into the floorboard just slightly and just makes the legs touch the ground, which is, exactly what you want. You want floating counters. And there we go. Perfect. So now we're going to attach some housing to the bar, and I'm going to have the owner living in this bus. I really like building in buses, so we're probably going to see a few more of those in my settlements. And the key here is I just wanted to get it straight, and that's pretty straight. Now we're also going to be attaching a structure to this side of the bus for the forced laborers that are going to be working the farm. So this is the structure we're going to attach to the bus, and I find it a lot easier to build the structure before trying to attach it rather than attach piece by piece. And you can see there that the full-size floorboards were interfering with the placement of the structure, so I'm going to throw these half boards on there. And don't forget to save before you do anything like this. That way, in case you mess up, you can always just reload. So you can see here that's much easier as far as placement goes. But I do, and you'll see in a second, really screw up this placement, so I'm glad I saved it right before. Look how much those are floating. Here we go, all reloaded, and this time we're going to try a different technique, and I'm going to do it from on top of the bus where I should have been the whole time. And you can see there I can use the lip on the roof of the bus to match up with the roof of the structure. Should make it a lot easier to get it nice and straight. See, there we go. Looks pretty straight. Now it does clip with the bus a little bit, but it's fine. Look at that. Nice and perfect. Now for a little bit of patchwork, and the structure should be complete. Now I'm not going to show you all of the patching that I do, but basically just grab a half wall or a railing and use the pillar to push it into the existing structure. And I use that same technique for all of the patching that I did. And you can see there, pops right in and we're done. Before we get to the tour, I just wanted to show off the first part of the bus decoration. It's going to work very similar to the scavenger home that I built in the last video, but instead of using plywood, we're going to use rugs. So you just basically put down a couple rugs, and then you put your decoration on top, or your furniture, whatever it is, on top of the rug, and then the game actually uses the collision of the lowest rug when it's placing the items, or when you're placing the items. Putting stuff inside of the bus is pretty difficult. Its hitbox is pretty awkward, so you kind of have to do it this way in order to get stuff in there. And the idea behind this decoration is, the operator that owns this bar is pretty well off. So you can see the furniture is pretty nice, has quite a few luxury items. He's doing pretty good for himself. So you can see there, they can even hang off the rug a little bit just to kind of fill out that space. You place it down and look at that. Here we go, around the walkway. It goes mostly around the water pit here. We have some Nuka World themed tables, chairs. Of course, we have a heavy drinking crowd here. They are raiders. Here we have a little food prep area. And the owner of the establishment here, selling some chems and chem making supplies, it looks like. Of course, there's a pack bartender. It is a joint settlement after all. And with the pack, there are dogs. You can see here we have a shelving unit with some alcohol on it. Now, I actually placed that with Do It Yourshelf, which is a great mod, by the way. You should definitely download it. I'll leave a link in the description. Here we have a cooking station, and I used OCDecorator to place all the food items on that table. Turned out pretty good. Of course, there's a Nuka Cola machine, and you have some Nuka Cola on the ground there. And here's a view from the other side. Wow, that really looks good. Here we are at the living quarters. You can see an operator flag there, as well as a pack flag on the other side, just to help signify that you're moving from operator to pack territory as you pass the bar. Now, this first area here in these living quarters are for the forced laborers who are going to end up working the farm that we're going to build right out there. On this side, they're actually treated a little better. You can see some reading materials on the counter there, and actual furniture. It's still sparsely decorated. They don't get very many things. They are forced laborers after all. Now, in here is where the owner lives. And you can see he has an actual couch and some nice stuff laid out on the table. You have some caps and some chems, of course. And then on this side, you have a sleeping area with more, nice furniture. Doesn't have a stained mattress. Has some pretty well salvaged dresser there. And of course, a smoking area in the corner. Now, I am going to be adding more decoration in here, but probably going to have to wait until the final settlement tour, which hopefully happens in the next couple of weeks. Still have a lot to build up here at Starlight. Have to build a farm out here, as well as some more housing. Maybe an arena, I don't know. More stuff, though. You can see the pack flag there as we come around into pack territory. I really love how that bus sticks out from in between those two wooden structures. And of course we have the walkway here with the plyboards all over it, really breaking up that texture. And I left the front part of the water pit open. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to build on this side, but I didn't want to block it off or anything, or have to tear anything down, depending on what I'm going to build here. Subscribe if you want to be notified when my next video goes live. I think we're going to tour Operator Plaza next. I'm just about done building that. Leave a comment if you thought I could do something better, or you have an idea on how I can improve the settlement at all. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, and until then, enjoy your time in the Commonwealth.